Hello, welcome to the scr1tno knitting project. My name is Sharon and I'm coming to you from Surrey in the UK, where I live with my family, 3 cats and a dog. This is episode 83 and today is the 19th of February 2021. It's a Friday. Welcome if you're a new viewer, welcome back if you're a returning viewer. Thank you so much for joining me today. I have picked up some more new subscribers recently, so thank you for joining me. This is actually going to be a proper project episode. So for various reasons I have decided to go back onto my rotation with my knitting, primarily because I've had so much going on in my life the last week that having a day where I know which project I'm going to do, rather than sitting there going, oh, I would do that one but this is going to happen, or I would do that one but this is going to happen, I'm just focusing on what that day is and getting on with it. So for those that are new, what I do is I have a 6-day rolling rotation of my knitting projects. And this is 6 days, not 7, because some days I'm busier than others. At the moment that's not the case because I'm a guide leader, but we're doing Zoom meetings, so in actual fact I'm knitting more on Zoom meetings than obviously I would if I was face-to-face meeting. So that's why it's 6 days. But I've stuck to the 6 days because I think that works quite well and it's not too overwhelming. 7 projects is quite a lot. So day 1 is socks, day 2 is cowl, day 3 is garment, day 4 is small items, day 5 is my mystery blanket, and day 6 is blankets. Now how it's worked, but where I decided to go back on the rotation, I haven't done a full rotation for the podcast this week, so today is actually day 1 is socks, so I haven't actually done my socks this week, so I've only got a very small amount of progress to show you on my socks, but we'll get into that in a minute. So yeah, I hope that's okay. I hope that makes sense. If you've got any queries about the knitting project, do leave them down below. I will answer them, or some of my long-term viewers who are used to my project will answer them as well. I know there's a few people that do their own version of it, which is fab, but it is quite a good way of, if you've got so much going on and you can just go, oh yeah, today's sock day, and just grab your sock, you don't have to think about it. It does sometimes fall that I'll swap projects around. If for instance I'm doing my mystery blanket, that can be quite intensive with the pattern, so if say I was going out, I mean none of us are at the moment, but if you were, I might swap that for a sock and swap my sock for my mystery blanket day. So sometimes I swap it around and mix it up, but this week so far it's been on project all week and today would be sock day, so I've only got a very small amount of progress to show you on my socks. But before we get into all that, let's do admin. So admin, the podcast has a Ravelry group if you're able to use Ravelry. If you're not, then please do feel free to chat below the video, and I know that there's a lot of viewers down there that will chat back and I will notice it as well. I don't always get a chance to reply, but I will normally put a heart by it if I've seen it. The Ravelry group is a lovely place to be if you can do Ravelry. I am going to look into doing Mighty Networks, but that requires a little bit more brain power than I have at the moment, so that's to come. That's probably a spring project if I'm honest. We have currently got 2 knit-alongs going on. We've got the year-long knit-along of the square a day cowl. Now the square a day was born by the Cosy Memory blanket and doing a little square a day on a blanket, and by the end of the year we have 365 squares on it, which although is not square is nearly a full blanket. It's quite a nice lap size blanket. So we do monthly check-in. No, we don't. We do 3 monthly check-ins. So it's quarterly. So at the end of March you should have 90 squares, so that is the March check-in. However, there are a couple of changes that are coming into effect. First of all, it doesn't matter if it's not knitted. It be crocheted, there's a quilt going on, it could be a stripe on a knitted blanket, it could be a stripe on a crochet blanket. Also with the crochet, if you're doing individual squares and you don't want to sew them all up straight away, because I know what it's like, sometimes you want to get them all done and then put them in order, that's fine as long as you've got a little pile of 90, absolutely fine. Also new in is if you want to do smaller blankets, so baby blankets or animal shelter blankets, if you finish one and you've got 90 squares, that's fine. Or less than that, that's fine, as long as you've got 90 squares on a sort of a collection of blankets by March, that's fine, absolutely 100% fine. Just if you could, as we go through the year, if you could post your previous photo with your next photo. So if you've done, say, 90 in your first blanket, and then the next check-in is 180, then as long as you've got the 90 and another 90, absolutely fine. That I know a lovely viewer of the podcast has asked me if we could do that, and absolutely no worries. She wants to knit smaller blankets for charity, and yes, totally, that's allowed. So that's a new in on the square a day. So we're also doing a stripy sock knit along. Stripy sock means self-striping sock yarn, self-patterning sock yarn, because sometimes the opals don't stripe. I have one that's doing that at the moment. And scrappy socks, all of those count. There is a dyer and a commercial yarn of the month. Sometimes there's more than one. For February it's Opal and Woolly Goodness was the dyer. Or is the dyer, I should say. And if you do it in Opal or Woolly Goodness, you get an extra entry. Any stripy socks count. So if you were doing, for instance, Giddy Yarn's stripy socks, you could put them in, but you'd only have one entry. However, I'd hold on to them because Helen from Giddy Yarns is a dyer later on in the year. Okay, so I got slightly interrupted by myself being silly. So it turns out that if you wanted to do the Giddy Yarns one, hold on to it till April, because Giddy Yarns is in fact April. So next month, which is March, is Desert Vista Dyeworks, Fab Funky Fibres, Regia, Knitting Goddess and Austermann Step. So if you've got any of those for next month, you can have an extra entry. If you don't happen to finish them by the end of March, they can go in April, so you just won't get an extra entry. So it's not like everything's lost, you can still enter the KAL. I'm trying to make it as inclusive and as easy as possible. Yeah, so that's exciting. I've got some Desert Vista Dyeworks, so I might have to look that out, although I need to finish my Woolly Goodness ones first. My idea now is I'm going to try and do some Christmas socks in my stripes if I can, but we will see. I say that and then I change my mind. So we've got some lovely prizes coming for both the KALs. Thank you very much. When I get round to it, I'm going to try and list pictures of them all with their dates in Ravelry. Sadly, I can't do that underneath the YouTube video, but I could do it in Mighty Networks if I get myself together, so I need to do that. Right, so I think that's it for admin. I cannot think of anything else. So let's move on to the project proper. So day one is socks, and my current pair is living in this lovely bag by Elderflower Stitches. I love this bag so much. And is my entry for the stripy sock KAL this month. Not that I'm going to get it finished. I can see that this with this KAL I'm in danger of having loads of pairs of stripy socks I need to finish. So I have got, right, I'm fairly certain that's not where I was last time I showed you this. I think I was probably a bit further down, but I'm getting there with this. Isn't that pretty? So this is the first sock. And this is by Woolly Goodness, and it's her self-striping sock yarn. And it's a light blue, a light green and a pink. And does it glitter? No, this one's not a glittery one. It's so pretty. That's a Copo stitch marker, by the way, which I thought went really well with it. I do like matching my stitch markers to my projects. And it's just, I've just done a 2x2 rib and just a plain stockinette, 60 stitches on 2.5mm needles. I use 2 circulars, and I'm using Licky wooden needles, which are my preferred needle. And this is how it's looking caked up. I've got the messiest cake ever. The I think my Knit Pro ball winder is really on its way out. I think it's on its last legs. It's throwing bits out the bottom as well. I could never centre pull it because that would just be one massive tangle. And then that's the mini that's going with it, which I will use for heels and toes. I meant to cast on in this and forgot, but that's not pretty. It's such a pretty spring sock. Makes me hopeful that spring is just around the corner, which does make me think when I talk about doing all my stripy socks for Christmas socks, whether I'll actually, as soon as the sun comes out, I'll change my mind. I just want to be knitting the pastel colours all again. because everybody knows these are my favourite colours. Oh, I love them. Although, to be fair, I love blue too. Oh, I should say actually, I am wearing my Understated, which is a pattern by Hoki Locatelli, and the yarn is by Rhapsody Dye Yarns and is their Peacock colourway, which I really liked. So yeah, I'm wearing a self-knitted jumper today. Yeah, but yes, I love this. As I said, I didn't get too much time on it, but today is sock day and I will be editing this podcast, so I should get some fairly solid sock knitting done. And yeah, I love that. Jenny does lovely stripes. She really does. Not that I can enter my own cowl, I hasten to add, but I've already got my prize. Jenny sent me the most gorgeous prize last week, which if you haven't seen last week's podcast, go back and look at the self-striping yarn Jenny dyed for it. Oh, it's amazing. And she very kindly dyed one for me too, so oh, lovely. So that is day 1 socks. So day 2 is cowl day or shawl day. I mean, I normally call it shawl day, but I happen to be knitting a cowl at the moment, and that's living in this lovely sheet bag, which my lovely friend Kelly from Les Family Yarn gifted to me. And the yarns in here is a little countdown she did for my birthday, and as you can see, I've only got one left now, which makes me sad. I've so enjoyed this. And I am knitting the Heart and Cowl by Helen Stewart, Curious Handmade. This was part of the Knit Vent patterns for 2020. And this is my cowl. So I'm on the last 2 sections, because you knit 2 yarns together, and they're the 2 that I'm knitting together at the moment, which are really pretty. And oh, just need to take my, so that is a little circular needle holder from Dragon Hill Studios. Do that, and I've got tips on it. I'm not sure where my tips are from. They're really good tips because they're really difficult to get off. So yeah, just take that off for the moment. And this is how my cowl is looking now. Where that little heart is, and that's a stitch marker from the from Hannah of the Corner of Craft. That's where I was when you last saw this, and I had a knitting frenzy on this. Absolutely loved this. So this is how it's worked out. I can't wait for this to be done. I love it so much. So pretty. So pretty. And these are all yarns that Kelly kindly gifted me, and obviously arranged into a rainbow for me, which I'm really glad she did that, because I would be hopeless at putting these colours together. But yeah, so that's the pattern. It's got a pattern section and a stripy section. So this is, you do a pattern for 2 minis, and then you stripe 2 minis together, and then it's a pattern again for 2 minis. So it's really pretty. And I'm on the striping 2 minis together now before I do the final rib. And I am going to do the rib in a different colour because I want to. And yeah, I am using Knit Pro Symphony needles for this on what looks like possibly a very small cable. I reckon that's 60. I don't think it's probably as long as 80. It might only be 80 because it's got long tips on it, but it's a very small cable. I am kind of strangling stitches at the moment, but never mind. And I don't know what size needles they are. Probably the size it says in the pattern. So shall I have a look and see what it says? 2.5, no, not 2.5, 3.5 millimeter needles. So that's probably what they are. They may be 3 millimeter if I went down the needle size, which I do sometimes, but they're probably 3.5 millimeter. Do you know what? I can probably check, because just over here in my lovely notions pouch from Rachel of So May Me is also a Rachel by So May Me knitting gauge. So that is never that far away from me. Oh, it's definitely a 3.5. It's definitely a 3.5. So it's 3.5 millimeter needles I did mine on. And yes, I absolutely love it. Yeah, how cute is that? It's a little knitting gauge. and that just lives in amongst everything else that I've got in here. I've got scissors, I've got a notebook, I've got a random DPN which I probably use as a cable needle if I'm honest. I have got, this is also from Rachel, tape measure, nail file should I need it, one of those super dupery little crochet hooks that you can use to pick up drop stitches, along with what is supposed to be a cable needle on the other end. I have a sewing up needle in here, which I can't get out. There we go. Oh no, not that one. I have two sewing up needles in here. I've got scissors with a, that's the lovely scissor keeper that Gaynor kindly gifted me, also from Rachel So Amy. My sewing up needle is in here, it just doesn't want to come out. That's my sewing up needle. Now these I get from Amazon, but I love them because they're slightly bent at the end, so it's needle eye at that end, and then they're slightly bent at that end. It just, for me, just makes it so easy to sew up, and it's one of the reasons I enjoy sewing up. These are very good, so I would totally recommend those, and I think you can get like packs of them for really cheaply on Amazon. They're like £5.99 for a pack of sort of 6. They're really cheap. And they are for me, they're the best sewing up needles. I love them, so I'd recommend those. Anyway, I'm not quite sure how you ended up with the tour of my little notions bag during day 3, but day 2 even. But there we go. So yeah, these are fab, absolutely fab, and it's never far from me. It's either in, if I'm like not working in here, if I'm knitting somewhere else, I throw it in my basket that I carry around the house with me, so it's never that far from me. I love it. It's always got everything I need in it. It's just lacking a little bit in energy balls at the moment. If you know, you know. This is a nod to Kelly and her podcast. So normally it's got something in there in the energy ball line, just in case. So anyway, that's probably enough of that, and that is day 2, cowl day. So day 3 is garment day, and my one I'm working on at the moment is in another Elderflower Stitches bag, which is this. I love this. It's Snowdrops. And this is my Elderflower Stitches Advent from 2020, and I had a DK Advent, and they looked like this. And I'm doing just a raglan jumper, and I'm just literally putting the next one of these in each time I get to it, so they're going in order. And this is how it's looking. So it's actually looking like a jumper now. That's the sleeve. It's a bit creased. That's one sleeve. That's the other sleeve. And then that's the body. So these are 20-gram minis. I'll tell you why the body looks a bit crinkled in a minute. These are 20-gram minis. I am splitting the 20-gram minis into 1 10 2 5s. I'm using the 10 round the body and the 2 5s on the sleeves. Shortly my sleeves will be long enough, at which point I will just use the whole lot on the body, but for the moment that's what I'm doing. Now it looks a bit strange because I'm using this strange stuff called Try-It-On tubing. Now I've just been having a look. I can't see where you can get it in the UK, but if you're in the States you can freely get this. And it's tubing that you attach to the end of your needle. So your needle, which is like this one. Let's just take this off for a minute. Take this off. I had to look up how to use this. So you attach it on the end there, like that, and then you can slide your stitches onto the tubing, which means you can try it on easier, basically. Now, it doesn't come off easily. So you can slip your stitches really easily onto it, but it's a devil to get back off again when you, oh, there we go, when you don't want it on your needles anymore. But it's good because it means that you can try on. Now I can't find anything that's the same in the UK, but you can buy the tubing on Amazon for quite cheaply. I don't know how well it grips on the end, so that's the main thing. I think you'd have to source and see what tubing you could get, but certainly if you are in the States, and I know I have a fair few American viewers now, you can readily get this, and it's just really good. It's called Try It On tubing. Have I got a... Yes, I have. That's what it looks like. So this is Machine Knitting to Die For is where it came from, but it is an American company, and obviously with postage charges at the moment to the UK, it's prohibitively expensive unless you happen to know somebody in the States who can buy it for you and send it to you. But yeah, it's that's what it is. But yeah, I can't find an equivalent in the UK, so there you go. That might be a business opportunity for someone. It's really good, and I've tried this on, so this is the long and the short of it is, I've tried this on to gauge the length of the sleeves, and I literally have 2 more minis to go, and then the cuff. So I'm going to have to start decreasing fairly rapidly at some point, because I want it to have like the bishop sleeves. So that's what I'm going to aim for, and then the rest will just go in the body, and I'm going to keep going with the body until it's either long enough or I've run out of yarn. And I was, there we go, there last week. This is another Hannah of the Corner of Crafts stitch marker, and I did that. So I did a mini, and I did it into so just do 1 mini, I think I did. I put it into the body and the 2 sleeves as well. So this is getting there slowly but surely, but I can't wait to get this finished. I really want it done by spring so I can wear it in the spring, because it's lovely spring colours. Yeah, so as I said, it's just a raglan pattern. Any old raglan pattern will do. And oh, that's actually the front. Not 100% certain about the neck, but actually when I tried it on it was fine. So I just love it. It's just a lovely faded jumper. And I want to get this off the needles because I have got the Giddy Yarns DK minis as part of her Marvellous Minis Club coming. So I've already got January's, so I don't want to fall too far behind, so I really want to get this off the needles if I can. This is the little set of scales I use to sort out the weights for my minis when I split them. And you can get these, I got this off of Amazon. They're just jewellery scales, jeweler's scales, but they're quite handy, and it lives in my project bag, which makes it even handier. Normally, if it's wasn't living in my project bag at the moment, it would be living in that Notions case. It fits in there. That Notions case is like a TARDIS. The more you put in there, the more it will take. It's fab. So it will live in there normally, but at the moment I'm just keeping it in here because I need it with this project. So that is day 3, garment day. So day 4 is small items day, and I've picked up an abandoned whip from Christmas. This is living in my travel bag from Busy Puttering, which I absolutely adore, and I normally only use when we go away, but you know, we're never going away at the moment, so why not use the bag? It makes me happy. And in here I have got is that everything? Let me show you those two. Yeah, so this is a hat, and I was doing a Helen Stewart pattern. I couldn't work out where on earth I was when I picked it up, so I've abandoned it and I'm just doing just a plain vanilla hat now. So I was there when you last saw this, and this is the toilet roll stitch marker from Hannah of Corner Craft, and then I have a cream egg as well. So that's my beginning of round marker, and that's where I was when you last saw it. And that, yeah, like I said, I'm just going round and round now and ticking off the rows because I've given up trying to work out where on earth I was on it. It was just looking awful. So again, I'm using 2 circulars, and I'm using, I think these are 4 millimeters. No, they're 5 millimeters. That seems unlikely for a hat, but okay. Apparently they're 5 millimeter needles, and I'm using fingering weight held double with a mohair, and oh, it's so super squidgy. It's really lovely. So this is the fingering weight, and this is a homespun house. And I've not got the card for this. Hold on a minute, maybe it's over here. Oh, it's not really in there, is it? So I haven't finished it. Don't know where the card's gone for this one. But yeah, that's a homespun house. It's really pretty. And then this is just a Rowan Kid Silk Haze. I've teamed it with that, and then that's going to be its pom-pom. So I've got no home for this hat at the moment. I'm going to knit it and see who I think it will go to. But I have plenty of birthdays coming up, so I'm sure I can gift it to someone, although somebody might be a bit confused if they get a woolly hat in, you know, March. So that's my, and this is a popper one, so I'll just sew the popper on, which is cool. So they can choose whether they want the pom-pom one or not. This is a So Remi needle cozy. It's a So Remi day today, isn't it? Hey Rachel, if you're watching. Yeah, so that's what I'm knitting at the moment for small items. I'm trying to get some of my whips down. If it didn't have a popper on it, these are what I use for inside my hats to hold on the pom-poms, and I just tie them on. And these are just buttons I got from Amazon, in actual fact, that says handmade with love, and you get a huge bag of them. I'm not gonna run out of them in a hurry. They're 20mm ones, and they're good for scrapbooking, DIY and craft. They're good for pom-poms too. Yeah, so I thought I'd just try and get this done, get it off the needles, then it can go in my present pile. And if I need, I mean, even if I don't gift it till next Christmas, at least it will be done. It'll be a whip off the needles, which would be really good. I'm really trying not to cast on anything new until I get a lot of the old stuff off the needles. That is unless I run out of projects for a slot. So if I run out of small items, then I am allowed to cast on another small item, which is just as well, because I actually do need to get some fingers mitts done. So that is day 4, small items. So as part of small items day, I've just realised I have a finished object, which I'd totally forgotten about. Do you remember the Christmas stocking I was making? Well, it's done. So this is it. It's huge. It's going to be a really good size. It's done in Gryffindor colours for my middle daughter, who is a Gryffindor, and they all need new Christmas stockings because their stockings are dying. So I did this on my standard, this is my standard sock pattern, just on very big needles. It was 6mm needles and an Aran weight yarn. So this is Drops Alaska, and I'm using it from the leftovers from their Weasley jumpers that I did them for Christmas. Yeah, it's absolutely fab. I'm really pleased with it. So that's the, there we go. Oh, it's huge. They're going to get a nice sort of stuff in that. So yes, as they're all moving out from in drips and drabs, I thought it'd be nice if they had their own stockings to take with them. Hand knitted by Mummy. This one I've even done the little loop on the top, so it will hang. I have not blocked this. I'm not going to block it because I think it's going to stretch enough as it is. It doesn't need any help. If I'm honest, I might block it next year after Christmas and shrink it. So yes, this is my finished object, and yeah, that goes with day 4, small items day. So day 5 is a long outstanding whip. Well, I say long outstanding whip. It's 2019's Mystery Blanket. Now, the Mystery Blanket Club is a club that is run by Debbie Abrahams. It's an annual thing, and basically it's what it says. You get the yarn and the patterns and knit a mystery blanket. I have 2020s, which I haven't even looked at yet, and I have just got 2021s. So I figured I probably should get 2019s off the needles. So we are cracking on with that at the moment. That's the pattern book I'm using just for this one. And yeah, I'm doing that one in the middle there. Wrong. In actual fact, I'm doing that one in the middle there. Wrong. Which is interesting. So, let's see what we've got so far, shall we? Let's get all the yarn out, because otherwise I'm not going to be able to show you. So far, these are what we've knit. This is the first strip. And first strip is completed. So this is what it's going to look like. Long-term viewers of the podcast will remember this. I do periodically pick this up and work on it. Probably when I feel guilty about the fact it's sitting there and I haven't done it yet. So that's that one. I do love that ferrule. So pretty. It's called Winter Wonderland. Even the name of the blanket is a secret to start with, but you know, I'm sure everybody who's knitting one knows what it's called now. Wow, the last time I knit this was a Christmas, because that is a Christmas pudding stitch marker. Right, so, and then I've got this random square, so this is obviously a starting square for one of them. And this one. These all need blocking as well. And, again, I love this. I love this ferrule pattern. It's so pretty. It's even got little beads in it. It's quite detailed. So yeah, I'm going to get on with that, and this is the square I am working on at the moment. So I was and this is why picking up halfway through a project is a nightmare. So I was there, and then I've started on this one, and for some reason the patterns are very much not matching up, and this bit is wrong and this bit's right. So I have decided to leave it, because I am going to look at that as a reminder of where I changed, where I picked it up again. I was thinking about ripping it back, but to rip this back you'd actually have to rip back the entire thing, because of the way it's knit it would be impossible to just frog it back. So I'd have to start the whole square again, and I just can't be bothered. I'll be honest, I can't be bothered. So I'm going to try and work out what I'm doing wrong along here to get it right. I think that one I think it is going right now, actually. I think I've corrected whatever it is on that row. The pink row and that blue row looks like it should be okay. The other problem with this is the pink in this should be white. So I don't know what I was thinking when I did the one down there, but I obviously picked up the wrong colour. So all in all, this square is pretty wrong, but I'm going to leave it because A, as I said, I can't be bothered, and B, I do think it's a good indication of where I picked it up, and I'll be able to look at it and I'll see it and go, oh yeah, I remember that, that's where I picked it up again. And it's a good reason not to leave these things too long, because you go back to them and you've got no idea where you are, which actually worries me slightly, because again, long-term viewers will know I have two Maytham shawls on the go. One because I lost one, but that's another whole long story, and that's going to be the next thing I want to pick up after I finish that cowl. It does concern me, I will not know where I am. However, it is a Helen Stewart pattern, and if it's got the tick sheet I should be spot on. But these I do from graphs. Apparently badly. Actually, this one wasn't even a graph, this was just knitting instructions. I had to work out which row I was on, which actually wasn't too difficult because these are all 2 rows, so I knew which row I was on, but how I managed to start wrongly I don't know, but I did. So lesson learnt. But yeah, actually looking at it now, it is back on track, isn't it, on the top on those 2. It's just those 2 in the middle that are wrong. So I'm going to leave it as a design feature and go, yep, I can remember where I picked that back up. So I've done all of this first strip, so it's a 7x7 square. So I've done all of the first strip, and I'm 1, 2, 3, 4 squares into the second strip. So whereas before you would get the squares randomly in random orders, I'm just going to knit it in strips and sew them up as I go along, and hopefully that will inspire me to get this finished. But I would say to you, keep me honest and you know, nag me to finish it, but there are some squares like that one where I just do that and I never want to knit it again. It's not the knitting of the square. The knitting of the square is fine. It's the beading. It's putting all those beads on the yarn. It takes a while. I have to be in the correct mood. But now I'm in here actually, it might be a lot easier. So I haven't knit it since I've been in here. So did I say it's hanging out in my Swan Lake bag, which is a Bags by Awesome Granny bag, which I love. I love this bag. It's lovely and big as well, so it houses some of the yarn and all my bits and pieces I need for it. Oh look, there's another square in there I missed. That's a pretty square. So that's another, that's got not lycra, what's the other, what's it called? Blanking. Lurex, that was what it was called. It's got Lurex in it. And I make my bobbles a lot smaller. Oh, actually that might be the right side. That is the right side. Sorry, I was showing you the wrong side there. Oops. Yeah, I make my bobbles a lot smaller because, is there, oh, I've got bobbles on that one. Yeah, the bobbles on there were way too big, I thought, for that square. So I've made them slightly more delicate now. Yeah. So that's exciting. And I am looking forward to having this finished. I'm not sure about this square because the lycra is really scratchy, which I don't think you really want in a blanket. It's okay in this one, on the, this is really pretty, this square, on the, that part, that's okay, but on that part again it's quite scratchy. So yeah, I'm not too sure about that, but it'll probably only be decorative and over the back of a chair. I mean, it will match in here beautifully when I get my blues done in here. It gets still redecorated, which won't be for a little while now. I have to wait for Charlie and Reese to move out for that, and as Ian pointed out to me, moving stuff off the walls to do it. That's going to be a labour of love, isn't it? All this yarn again. Be a good excuse for me to move my yarn, won't it? Again. Right, okay, I have just dropped some of that on the floor, so I'm going to say, so that is day 5, Mystery Blanket Day. So day 6 is Blanket Day, and my current one is hanging out in my lovely Jo bag. Now this is a bag from SoCan Jo, who's very kindly donated one as a prize for the podcast, which will be March's prize. So you might want to get in on March's Stripy Sock Along, because that's the only way you're really going to get a Jo bag, because unfortunately she doesn't make them to sell, but she has very kindly donated one to the podcast. So jump on March's Knit Along and you might win one as a prize. Oh, it's so lovely. I love this bag so much. Oh, so good. Right, so in here I have my crochet friendship blanket. That's the hook I'm using. I'm afraid I can't remember who the hook was from, but I know she's not making them anymore. And I believe it is a 3mm hook. And this is made from my minis that I swapped with friends at Christmas. I'm on day 22 of all of them, so I'm nearly there. And this is a giant granny square, and this is how it's looking. It's a huge I think once I finish these minis I'm going to call it done, and then I'll start a new one for next year, because this is very big and I've loved knitting it, but crocheting on it, but it is getting quite unwieldy now. And so I was along here when you last saw it. Yeah, so I was along here on this row when you last saw it. So I have done across that. Isn't that pretty? What I love about this blanket is it's different on each side, because the minis are quite short. They're 5 5 gram, that's what I was going with, minis. So they run out quite quickly because it's crochet, so you get different sides to this. It's super crazy, and I'm fairly certain this is going to live on my oh, actually no, that's where I was, sorry, apologies, that's where I was. I'm fairly certain it's going to live on the side in my that's just gone round the wrong way. Never mind, we're going to carry on. Just carry on showing you on my white sofa because it will cheer it up. So yeah, so that's where I've got to, and I always put, with crochet, I always put a little locking stitch marker through my stitch so I don't lose the stitches. So I've just added on a new mini there. Yeah, so much fun. It reminds me of a blanket that from my childhood that I used to snuggle on when I was at my aunt's. Sidebar on that, they used to collect Toby jugs. Does anybody remember what a Toby jug was? Are they still a thing? Do people still collect them? And they must have had the scariest collection of Toby jugs ever, or at least that's what I felt like as a child. And I can remember watching TV snuggled under my crochet blanket with these Toby jugs watching me, and I used to have nightmares about those Toby jugs. Just a random piece of information there. But yeah, so I love this. So yeah, getting to work on this is fab. And then I'm going to, I can't remember whether I showed you my Stitching Time blanket last week or not, but that's the one I want to throw into the blanket slot once this one's finished, so I can work on that. And again, I would like to get, I've got a bits and bobs blanket that I need to work on. I'd really like to get some of these blankets finished this year if I can. So as much as I can, I'd like to stay on project. The only reason I tend to go off project is normally emotional turmoil or chaos, and then at that point all I want to knit is socks. So if you look back and watch my back catalogue from time to time, you'll see all of a sudden there'll just be a programme that's just literally socks. Normally that's followed a crisis of some kind. Oh dear. But yeah, so we're back on projects. It's taken me a while this year. Normally I go back on quite quickly after Christmas, but it's taken me a little while this year. The idea is to get some of these whips off the needles and finished, which would be good. So yeah, that's the end of the project, and that's day 6, blanket day. So next up is my square a day, which is currently a crochet square a day, and that's living in my blanket bag from Busy Pottering, which I absolutely adore, and also in my bag from Craft House Magic, which I love. I love this bag. So this is kind of the working bag, whereas that's the bag that's got the blanket in it, because I knit this in strips too. So this is a strip. Isn't that pretty? So this is the strip I'm working on at the moment. This is all woolly goodness, and I'm on the last square for this strip, so I haven't got much yarn to show you. So that's the last bit of the mini that I'll be using, and the rest of it I'm winding into a magic knot ball, which I am going to use to crochet a corner to corner blanket at some point. And this is the current strip. Now I've put progress keepers on the ones that you've not seen. I mean, they're all the same. So once you've seen those two, you've seen them all. But that's how many I've done since you last saw this. I do, the whole thing is 20 squares long, and I do 10 of one alternate and then 10 of another alternate. So there is 5 of each colour. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 5 of the plain blue. So I try to do a more variegated and a plainer one, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of this variegated. There's 4 currently of the purple, because the 5th one there will be the last square and will be the purple. So yeah, so that's the ones I've done since you last saw this. And yeah, it's very pretty. I like this strip. So the idea is it's a Christmas blanket, and it's colours that mean Christmas to me. This one I thought was quite icy colours, and as it was snowing when I chose these minis, it seemed quite appropriate. So yeah, it's icy colours, which I love. Yeah, so that's my strip for this week for the square a day. And as I said, it's a crochet square. I crochet a round of grannies. So I've started off with 4. So I do a chain of 5 to start with, slip stitch it together, and then I do 4 granny clusters into that chain, with 2 chain stitches between each cluster, and then I turn it over, turn it round, and then I go round it that way until I've done a round, and then I turn it back again. So I turn it around each time, so you get quite a square that way. They don't look very square at the moment, although if I show you an end one, it does look much squarer. When you sew them together, it distorts it a little bit. And then I'm doing some single crochet to join them together, and then single crochet all the way up the edge to join it to its previous partner. And I'm using for that this lovely yarn, which is from Untitled, and appropriately is called Silver Bells. Which, you know, it is a Christmas blanket. That's quite cool. I may need more of this, so at some point I'm hoping I'll either be able to get some more from Helen of the Untitled, or if not, I can find an equivalent. But it'd be nice if it was this, because it's such a pretty colour. It's a lovely yarn. It's very soft and squidgy. So yeah, that's my square a day, and to be fair, it's a lot quicker than my Cosy Memory blanket, because crochet just in general is quicker, or I find it quicker. So it's not taking me as long in the morning, which is quite good, because at the moment I'm regularly working out, so I don't have as much time in the morning as I would do normally, or as I would do otherwise. Not normally, because it's normal for me to work out now. I know what I'm talking about. Oh dear. Right, so anyway, that is my square a day. So I have some happy mail. Kelly, who is the dyer behind Les Family Yarn, had an update for Flock last weekend, and she's launched a whole new collection, which is Squiddle Village. I love that name. Isn't that brilliant? Squiddle Village. And she very kindly did some minis, so I didn't have to buy the whole collection. So these are the minis. Oh, I absolutely love them. Go check out her Instagram account. I think there's a saved highlight that is her, or either it's an Instagram TV, is her live that she did, explaining all the colourways, which is brilliant and worth checking out. But yeah, aren't they lovely? Such fab colours. So yeah, Squiddle Village. I love the idea and the concept behind this. It's such a great idea, and the colours beautiful. So that's that one. And then the other one, I'd seen this doing the rounds actually on Instagram, and I thought I'd actually love to have a go with it. So this is zebra yarn, and this colourway is Jack Frost. It's 100% superwash merino, and it's 400 metres, so you get a nice lot of yarnage with it. And I thought I would probably make some fingerless knits with it. Oh, it's really pretty. It's very much my colours. Very much my colours. Again, oops, Kelly's logo, Les Family Yarn. Yeah, I really fancy having a go with this and seeing how it knits up. It's very soft and squidgy. It's very pretty too. I like this colourway. So yeah, I thought I'd have a go with that. And we'll see what we make. It's going to sit in my stash for a little while. So I think I've definitely got more coming in this week than I have going out. Now, my last one is a club. So if you have not had your February Scrappy Project Club from Woolly Goodness, that's the little card for this month. Please, please, will you look away? The March box will be available on Friday the 19th, which is actually the day I'm recording this. So please do go check out her website if you would like one. By Sunday it will be up. So this is the inspiration photo. Now if you're new here, I deliberately don't describe anything on here so that if the people are just looking down, they don't have to, I won't spoil them. And then this is this is so beautiful, little progress keeper that comes with it. So pretty. And this is the set of minis. Now I am going to hold up the inspiration photo and the minis so you can see them together, because very much a case of nailed it. Aren't they lovely? Jenny is so talented. I love Jenny's yarn. I have been a big fan and supporter of Jenny of Woolly Goodness for a couple of years now, and she's a good friend too. And doesn't live too far from me, so hopefully when this awful virus is gone and we can actually meet up again, we can actually go out for a coffee and just sit and knit and natter for a while, because I would love to do that. But yeah, that's lovely. Right, you can look back now. Oh, so pretty. I haven't quite worked out what I'm going to do with Jenny's scrappy boxes this year, because I'm not doing my Cosy Memory blanket, so I may just save them all for next year for when I do another Cosy Memory blanket. Or I might just actually cast on a Cosy Memory blanket, because that could happen if I'm honest. So that is Happy Mail. Now I thought I'd share something special with you. I got a Valentine's box from Sherry Iris. Now I don't normally show these boxes because it's quite confusing as to how to do it, because they're a countdown, or a count up in fact for this one, because you opened it on Valentine's Day and went beyond it. So I never really get around to it because I've opened everything. However, I thought I'd give you a little trip through what I've got with this one, if that's okay. Theoretically, if you've got one of these boxes, you should have opened it all by the time you see this on Sunday. So, I haven't opened all mine. It comes in a lovely box, which is wrapped like this. And this is one of the keepsake boxes, which I might use for my stripy socks. And it came with a project bag, and this was the lovely project bag it came with. And you get individually bagged minis. So that's the bag, and obviously they've got a number on it. It's got a lovely story that comes with it too. And I haven't opened number 5 yet, so this is number 5. It's in that package, and it's got a little extra with it, which is this. So I was going to open these now, actually. Do it live on camera. The sweetest story with this, if you happen to follow Sherry and know that she has the animals of Foxglove Wood and the people in Foxglove Cottage, this is about the people, and it's a love story, and it's a very sweet love story. I'm not going to spoil it, just in case you haven't opened yours yet for any reason. I mean, if you haven't, please look away now, because, you know. So it comes in a little story, so that's the little story, which I will read later off camera. And then these are the minis, so it's wrapped like this. Oh, that's pretty. So that's the little mini I've got. And this set, I think, will definitely be scrappy socks at some point, because I made some with her Valentine's set last year. I was looking at them the other day and I was thinking, yeah, it'd be really nice, wouldn't it, to make scrappy socks. So I'm going to put that back in there for now, and then I'm going to just open this, which I'm fairly certain is going to be a piece of artwork by her lovely son Chris, who is Beard and Yarn on, oh, that's really pretty, on Instagram. Oh, that's lovely. It's a rose. Isn't that beautiful? So behind me here, Not that one. That was from my friend. These two are both Sherry Iris or Chris's artwork. So I've got another one that can go there, and then I'm going to put some more over in this, that side. I'm only slightly more reluctant to put them that side because that is behind my door. So most of the time I don't see behind there because the door's open. It's only when I'm recording that you see that, but it would be nice to pop them on there, I think, so you can see that. So I need to get some bigger frames because the frames I've got fit the smaller size one, and I've got two of these larger size ones now. So that's what you get. There was also a candle, there was some soap, there is a full skein of yarn which I haven't opened yet because that's today's, because that was yesterday, so I won't do that today. Yeah, and as I say, this lovely story that goes with it. Oh, and also there's a beautiful progress keeper. What did I do with the progress keeper? Is that in the bag? I want to show that. Absolutely gorgeous. Oh yeah, here we go. So pretty. That's the progress keeper. So it's this little delicate little heart, but it's on this beautiful artwork as well, with a gorgeous little bit of ribbon. The whole aesthetic of Sherry Iris is just amazing, and it literally is the devil's in the detail with anything from Sherry Iris. It's not just the yarn, it's the whole experience, because it's so pretty. It's just lovely to see. I love opening her bits and pieces, which is why I'm such a fan of Sherry Iris, and also I love her in real life. But you know, I'm lucky enough to have got the Easter box from hubby for my joint Valentine and Easter present, so I won't get that till Easter, but that's fine. So yeah, but I thought I'd give you an idea of what you can get in one of Sherry's boxes, because it's not just the yarn, it's a whole experience and aesthetic. It's beautiful. So I hope you don't mind me sharing that with you. Let's move on. I think the only thing I've got left now is just news from the knitting project. So news from the knitting project this week. First of all, I really hope you're all okay. I am friends with a knit group, and it seems that everybody's had a really bad week in one respect or another. So I'm hoping it's just us and it isn't just everybody, because it's been an incredibly bad week, I think, for most people. So yeah, so first of all, I hope you're all okay. I'm okay. I just had a few health issues, and most of it's weight related, so I am well back on working out every day and watching what I eat, and I'm really in the zone, which is good. And often happens to me this time of the year. It's when we start getting better weather. I do actually start getting back into it, and I need to. So I'm fine. I'm absolutely fine. There is nothing wrong, but I do need to lose the weight. Would be a good thing. Bella is much better. Thank you very much for all your concern. She had a urine infection. I have to say, anybody ever tried to get a wee sample off of a dog? Oh my goodness, me and Ian chasing her around the garden with a paper tray trying to get this wee sample. I should have set the camera up because it was hysterical. But anyway, luckily it is just a urine infection. She's absolutely fine. She had a full blood work done as well, and all her bloods have come back really well. So bearing in mind that she is prone to cancer, bless her, we were very concerned. Got cut off by my camera there. So yeah, so the fact her blood work's come back so well is really good news. Everybody else is fine in the family. All my daughters are okay. Nothing to report there. Meg's had the week off because it's been half term, so she's back next week. If you are new here, my youngest daughter is a teaching assistant, and got the coronavirus about 3 weeks ago now, and she's been absolutely fine, but she had an easy ride of it, but caught it from work. My eldest daughter works for our local council, and she's out and about all the time. My middle daughter works from home and is my partner in crime, and we try and every day at 1 o'clock have lunch together, which is really nice actually, and we get to chat and talk things over, which has been lovely. And yeah, the biggest news that I'm so excited about, and hopefully I'll get some video footage and pop it on at the end. My cherry tree is in blossom. Oh, I'm so excited. once my cherry tree starts to blossom, I know we're heading towards spring. Now, I'm sorry, and I know a lot of you prefer autumn and winter being knitters, but I am such a spring girl. I cannot wait for spring. I'm not over keen on the very hot temperatures, I have to admit. I don't do well in heat, but I do very, very well in spring. If the temperatures can stay around about 23, I would be perfectly happy. But being able to be outside in the garden under the cherry tree knitting away or sewing, that's when because I do embroider from time to time. It's very new, and that is totally inspired by the lovely Sherry Iris. I can sit outside and embroider. That is absolutely fantastic. So yes, so my cherry tree's in blossom. I'm so excited, so excited. That's it really from the knitting project this week. I haven't got anything else, but I think this has probably gone on long enough anyway, judging by the length of time it's taken me to record it, because it's now, oh, it's 11:45 and I think I sat down at 10 o'clock. I'm really hoping the podcast is not that long. There will be some vlog footage coming up. For those of you that are sensitive, there should be some driving in the snow from last weekend. If that's not your thing, I will put a warning before the driving sequence starts. And after the driving sequence has gone through, there will then be a few little bits and pieces that I've recorded of possibly animals doing silly things and my cherry tree in blossom. So I hope you're all okay wherever you are. Take care, and I will see you next week.